Well, on the heels of NetEase completely destroying Blizzard in China, it seems Microsoft has another hurdle to get over for the Activision deal. Well, it's been an ongoing saga for the Microsoft Activision Blizzard deal. $69 billion is at stake, and a lot of places are saying no. This merger will not go through. We have the FTC suing the block, which I reported on that a while ago. Probably see the video here. And now the European Union is stepping into this on this heavyweight deal to try and stop it as well. Will this go through? How far is this going to go? Before I go deep into the story, do hit the like and subscribe buttons. Do it now. Pause the video and go do them now, because if you don't, then I don't get a sub. And if I don't even ask for it, you guys aren't subbing. So I have to do this. It's unfortunate that I have to ask you so much to hit that button. Please hit that button, because if you don't, you're not going to know what's going on in the world of gaming. European Union reportedly preparing to challenge Microsoft's Activision Blizzard deal. This is coming from IGN. The European Union is reportedly planning to submit a statement of objection to the Microsoft deal regarding its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. Sources familiar with the matter told Reuters that the Microsoft is likely to receive EU's antitrust warning regarding its $68.7 billion acquisition of Call of Duty and World of Warcraft publisher, adding to the growing list of organizations raising concerns about the deal. I gotta say, every time there's a merger or a takeover or something like that, there is a lot of stuff that goes awry. $69 billion pretty much at this point is more than Elon Musk paid for Twitter. And if you look at Twitter, what happened? He went in there and completely gutted the place because there was so much bulk that it was absolutely ridiculously overspending on how they did. I think they were up to upwards of $4 million loss a day. A business can't survive like that. Now, the Microsoft deal came into effect, or Activision Blizzard was under a lot of scrutiny from allegations and a lot of boys sort of talk in the rooms of management, which is very much similar to what we're seeing right now with Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. We've seen these moves in the past before, where a company all of a sudden gets completely bombarded with all these attacks, protests happens, and their stock tanks, and then Microsoft, in this case, looks like the savior because they're going to come in and clean up the company, and that's not the case in this matter. There's a lot of worry from the other makers, mainly Sony and Nintendo out there, because Microsoft is a direct competition to them.
It's the hot new buzz, video games.
95% or more of the market, we were the video game industry.
The big three consoles, you've got your Xbox, you got your PlayStation, and you got your Switch right now. And I gotta say, when the console wars really heated up past in the Nintendo 64 era, into the PlayStation 1 era and the Xbox era, at that point, everyone was kind of letting the chips lie. Where did they go? I went to PlayStation at that time because I felt that the PlayStation gave me the most round-around way to actually play games. They were easier to come across. They also came out with the testing games, or the PlayStation monthly demo disc that came out, which I thought was an amazing thing back then. Some of those games on that demo disc actually got me really hooked onto the games a lot better. Now, Nintendo never did that. They just came out with cartridges, and the cartridge level made it very difficult to make these bigger world games because you are always subjected to the cartridge. And that's why the Wii, when it came out, they went to the disc and having the memory card by itself. It made it very much different. And I never went to Xbox. Microsoft has never been the place that I go for gaming in the first place, mainly because of the PC, mainly because I'm a computer nerd that sits there and wants to build and be enthusiastic about building a PC. And for me, anything that came out on the Xbox would eventually somehow make its way to a PC. So I never had that draw to go towards Xbox. With the gaming world today, a lot has changed in that sense because now you have Microsoft's Game Pass, you have the PlayStation Store Pass, and then you have the Nintendo's Pass. I believe they have their own pass as well. So it's all become this subscription base scenario, and that is where the new console war is. The consoles themselves haven't really changed. They've updated what's in the guts and everything like that, but if you actually were to tear them down and open them up, you see the guts, and they're going to be the same thing what you have in a home desktop computer. And this is where the battleground is really starting to heat up. Nintendo, they're still pushing along with the Switch. They have exclusive games, and that is why Nintendo has such a bigger draw than even PlayStation and Xbox, because they're able to keep everything in-house. Now, the difference with Activision Blizzard is they do a lot more PC gaming now than they ever have. You've got World of Warcraft, and that is one of the biggest titles in the world. It has been around for a long time now, and that is all PC. Call of Duty has been on multiple systems and PC, and it spread its wings out there. So there is kind of legitimate here to say, listen, if this deal goes through, then they become exclusives to Microsoft and they get taken away from the brand names of like the PlayStation. But I don't see PlayStation really stepping up their game in the first place. Yeah, they own a lot of exclusives, but I don't have a draw to PlayStation because for me, I would rather play with a lot of friends. The Nintendo has always been a much better system for me, mostly because of Mario Party. A huge game back in the day was when we played Mario Party. We would sit there and everyone would bring over beers and everyone would bring over bottles of everything, and we would sit there, and every time we lost a coin, you would drink or something like that. It just became a great party system, and that was the one thing that Nintendo had focused on for a long time. Now with Microsoft, with the Game Pass, that is where their focus is now. Their focus with that Game Pass is always bringing new titles to that Game Pass and trying to add value to the Game Pass, and that is one of the reasons why they're pushing along with this merger. But in a lot of cases, people are saying no, they have to reject the deal, mainly because a lot of jobs will be lost. Mergers always lead to job losses and restructuring. A lot of jobs will be lost in this circumstance. And if it does go through, you're going to see places really implode on themselves. And we're already seeing that where Google's laying off people. Twitter laid off a ton of people. There was a lot of noise about it because it was Musk, but you're also seeing Facebook laying off people, Google, Microsoft just laid off a bunch of people. There's a lot more going on here in the world of tech and gaming in particular. The statement of objections charge sheet is expected to be sent in the coming weeks through Microsoft. Has seemingly maintained that it's confident in the deal's success. We're continuing to work with the European Commission to address any marketplace concerns. It said, our goal is to bring more games to more people, and this deal will further that goal. Ultimately, they want you to spend more money on Microsoft, and that's generally what's going to happen. If I go over to the Reuters thing, it doesn't really talk about too much more. From Brussels, January 16th, Microsoft is likely receiving a EU antitrust warning about the $69 billion bid for Call of Duty maker Activision Blizzard. People familiar with the matter said that could pose another challenge to completing the deal. The European Commission is readying a charge sheet known as a statement of objections, setting out the concerns about the deal, which will be sent to Microsoft in the coming weeks. So there's not a lot to really talk about there with this because it's literally just two paragraphs. But this deal that's going to probably fall through at this point, I don't see this deal getting pushed through anymore, or it's going to have certain things come out and it's going to scale back what they're allowed to do. And then Activision Blizzard is going to be left holding the bag, not knowing which direction to go because of everything that has happened with China saying no to them, with them completely having to upend those servers. They had hundreds of people at the protests saying that this company isn't doing what they're doing, although it was I gotta say, those protests, they went a direction that they probably shouldn't, because they weren't focusing on the main problem of what's going on, and that's the anti-consumer actions that they were taking. Trying a lot of these places where you've got loot boxes and all these other things coming in for these games continue to be pushed through, and now they're getting overshadowed by deals like this that just aren't getting pushed through. So we'll have to wait to see where this one really lines up. Hopefully you guys found this informative. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you again very soon. I'm proud Canadian Phoenix, Sinishadow, signing off.